Hey guys, welcome to the YouTube channel. Today I just want to show you a bit of like how I've rearranged my collection. Now I do have stuff off camera, I have DVDs to the side, Blu-rays and all that around, but I just want to show you what I put in the background and why I've rearranged it this way. Now it is constantly rearranging, so this may not be this may not be its final form, you know? Final form, was that Cell or no, that was Freezer. This isn't even my final form. I can't do the Linda Young voice, but you know what I'm saying. But what I've done is I've moved some DVDs in with this, and what I've done is I've put over here South Park because it's probably my favorite TV show of all time. The South Parks are over there. I've also got the Blu-rays over here that I kind of have to merge into it, but for the time being, I'm just like, I'll put them in there when I get around to it. I've also got right next to it Kenny vs. Benny, another one of my favorite TV shows. And a lot of you might say, what's Kenny vs. Benny? It's one of those shows that spawned like the competitive thing up against their friends. So it's like glory for the winner, humiliation for the loser. I think UK had Ed versus Spencer or something, and it's been done to death around the world. But Kenny versus Benny is the original, and I actually like Kenny versus Benny. I can rewatch those endlessly. Right next to it is The Simpsons. So you see The Simpsons right there next to it. Then you have Godzilla. I've just got the Godzilla in there. Chappelle Show, some DC and Marvel stuff. So like Superman from like the George Reeves kind of era. George Reeves, yep, George Reeves, yeah. So I've got like Superman in there. I've got some, you know, got Batman and that from the 70s or like the 40s and stuff like that in there. So I've got a bit of everything. I got Captain America, an old school Captain America in there. I've got, you know, Batman and Robin from the serial in like the 40s. Kind of interesting to have. But you know, this is kind of an interesting one to have. Beavis and Butthead, Ren and Stimpy, Family Guy, Mr. Bean, Addams Family, Munsters, Brady Bunch, American Chopper, because it just fit there conveniently. And I've got more over there behind the camera. Down here, I've also put my horror section I put my horror section down next to the TV. I've moved down the sci-fi to the next shelf. Over here, I've got Westerns. Over here, I've got Marvel MCU, DC Comics, and then DCEU. Then over here, biopics. And over here, I've got foreign movies. Further down, I've got musical over there. Behind here, I've got all drama and thriller. So I merged drama and thriller into one. Next shelf down, I've got action. And I think I might have next action. No, action's just a full section. And all the way down the bottom that you're not going to probably see, all the way down here, I don't know if that's going to show on camera, but all the way down there, I've got Disney, Pixar, comedy, Australian, anime, and romance. So I've kind of rearranged this in a way that I really want to showcase a lot of things that I do have as a reflection of myself. That said, I'm also downsizing. I've got stuff over here where I need to put these into boxes eventually. The wrestling section, I've got wrestling Blu-rays over here. I might put these into boxes next, perhaps. And I'm constantly rearranging this stuff. I've got stuff behind the camera over here that you don't really see often. I've put my gaming over here, so I'm probably setting up a gaming collection behind here. Just doing a bit of everything. And as those shadows look horrible, let's turn on a light here because that looks horrible. What I have here is I have a bit of everything. So I'm kind of, this is a work in progress. And then there's more behind the camera, but I think I'm going to pull that cable out. I've also got not Super Famicom, I was going to say, Dreamcast games off camera there as well that I can set up. But you know, I'm constantly rearranging this, and this is the best collection tool you're probably going to get from me because I don't want to go through and say, and this one, I did a collection tool years ago that I did 2 of them. You can go and watch them both. I might even put them as the end screens, but you know, something about having a collection, let me put this way down. You come right down here. You come right down, and you come right over here. And then we're going to sit down, because I've got a steel chair here. And first, then I'm going to use it like Steve Austin, like The Rock and Mankind. Remember that match, Rock and Mankind? I think it was Royal Rumble or something, and The Rock just hits Mankind in the head like 20 times with a steel chair. You can't do old school wrestling these days. But you know, the thing about collecting is that it really needs to be a reflection of yourself. And you know, I'm trying to do a shorter video here because I don't want to rant on about collecting and what my collection looks like. I've got some boxes over there. You can see how that's kind of work in progress. I'll figure that out at a later point. But this is the idea behind my collection. I wanted to reflect myself. It's why I've got South Park and stuff at the top of the section. That's why I put the box sets back up there. There's a lot of this that has to reflect me. And when I talk about films and I draw from this, I've got some Dragon Ball comics down the bottom. I've got a lot of stuff. I need to sell the Dragon Ball stuff, the mangas. But there's a lot of stuff here that it just isn't a reflection, and there's a lot of stuff here that I felt needed to be done better. And yeah, I don't know, short video. Can we do it for 5-6 minutes? I don't know. We can make a shorter video. We don't have to make 10-minute videos all the time, do we? You guys just want to be here and watch what I have to say for the sake of being here with me, which is pretty cool. You guys are pretty cool. But yeah, let me know what you think. I'll sit in the middle of the end screens here. I'll put the end screens like here and here, and you can watch them both. And I'll do put my fingers and do the twist. Yeah. Go watch the videos. Go do what you need to do, and I'll just sit in the middle and stare at you like I have lost interest. Cinema. And that light is very blaring into my eyes. Watch this one or that one. Watch them both.